Here is your work for day 14, I believe, finding and comparing z-scores. So this is exactly what your worksheet looks like in Google Classroom. And I'm gonna do 2 of these with you so you have an idea of how to do it. So the directions say to use the table below to find the z-scores of the given data points x. What that means is that each of the values right here, this is gonna be our x in this formula up here. So let's go ahead and let's do number 4 on the top. We want to know what's the z-score for a standard Binet IQ score of 184. All right, so I'm going to look at the Stanford Binet IQ row. My mean score is 200, my standard deviation is 32. So to write out this formula, my x value is what was given to me, it's 184. And from that, I'm subtracting the mean, which is 200, and then I divide by the standard deviation, which is 32. When you put this in your calculator, if you are using like your phone's calculator, do it in 2 steps. So do the numerator first, 184 minus 2000. That gives you negative 16. And then divide by 32. So that gives us a z-score of negative 0.5. So that means this particular score is half a standard deviation below the mean or average score. And the reason we care about z-scores is because it allows us to compare 2 different things that are measured on different scales. So let's use part of what we were just doing, and let's do number 1 on the bottom. The directions here say determine which test score is better by finding and then comparing their z-scores. So remember, a negative z-score means the person scored below average. A positive z-score means they scored above average. So the bigger the number of the z-score, the better the score. So we're going to find 2 z-scores. First, we're going to use this one, and then we'll find this one. So I'll color code so we can keep them in order. All right, a Stanford Binet IQ score of 213. So 213 is my x value again. So 213 minus the mean, which on that score was on that test was a 200, divided by the standard deviation, which is 32. So remember, do that in 2 steps. So that gives us a z-score of 0.406. So I'm going to go ahead and round that to actually we'll leave it as 0.406. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing, but for the Wechsler IQ score. So the Wechsler IQ score, my x value is 117. My mean for Wechsler IQ is 100, and there's a standard deviation of 15. So that gives a z-score of 1.1333, repeating forever. So in comparing these 2 z-scores, 1.13 is bigger than 0.406. So getting a test score on the Wechsler IQ test of 117 is better than getting a 213 on the Stanford Binet IQ. So to answer the question, you would say which test score is better. It would be the Wechsler. For z-scores, we're going to round to 3 decimal places. So when you get a number, make sure you write down, let's say, if it were this, write down all the way to here. And then be careful when you round. So if you had a number like that, when you go to write down the third, don't just stop at the 3. Look at the 5. If it's 5 or greater, you round up. So this would be written as 0.124. If it's less than 5, you don't round. You just keep the number the same. All right, I hope that helps, and please complete your work and then submit it on Google Classroom.